everybody? This is Combat Sports Podcast, and we're coming at you with the UFC Vegas 109, aka Delete versus Fernandes. This is going to be a good matchup in the middleweight class, a 5-rounder, of course. It should be good. We have a good co-main event, and then a couple fights. The fights, but you know the fight card is but there should be a lot of striking matchups from what I was seeing. Some decent names, like I was saying. Also, the Dana White Contender Series starts next week, I believe, on Tuesday, if I'm correct. Also, there's PFL Africa. I'm not going to be doing a breakdown for that, but today we will be starting off with the prelims and maybe the main card. If not, I'll do the prelims today and the main card tomorrow. We'll see how I'm feeling. But let's get started right away here with the first fight of the night. We got... Oh, it also starts at 4:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 Central. The prelims do. So it's like an earlier card. The main card starts at 6 Central Time, probably 7 Eastern Time. But alright, now let's get right into the first fight we got. Okay, so actually, again, I guess they just get added randomly during the week. I don't know how short in advance this fight is or if they've known about this, but 100%. I did my breakdowns Monday and today, and Sunday and Monday, and it was like this fight was not there. So now we just gotta come up with here and do a breakdown. I do have my other stuff here. I thought the Gabby fight was the next one, but it is not. We got a Cody Brundage fight. I'm not sure if this is where it's gonna be in the card or not, but actually this is a good fight. I'm really excited to talk about Cody over here because some shit happened recently. So let's get right into this breakdown. I don't really have a whole bunch of stuff on him, but I do know enough about him where I can do a little breakdown over here. Let's go talk about Cody over here. Cody Brundage, 11-6-1. We're gonna get started into him. This guy trained out of Factory X. He's 5-5, I believe, with 1 draw and 1 no contest. Most recently, this dude is coming off a loss by knockout that just got overturned a couple weeks ago. Like, not that long ago. I want to say, it might have not even a month. It might have been a month, but this dude, it's crazy. This dude, it was a good-ass fight. He got headbutted, kind of, and lost by a decision in the third. Because I guess it was, like, at the end of the second or something. So they started the third or somewhere. What was it? Was it something like that? Or no, it's the third round started or something. So they said that they had to go to the judges' scorecard. Mansour Malik did get the win there, but it did get overturned, like I was saying. This dude has gotten a lot of, he has another no contest, right? Yeah, this one right here was a no contest. He lost originally, but it got turned into a no contest because he got hit in the back of the head. He said he has a lot of great fights too, a lot of questionable fights, but I honestly, I guess I see why he's in the UFC, but I don't. He did have this amazing fight against Julian. It was a fucking dude, it was a brawl. Go look it up. It was a fucking banger. For the longest it lasted, bro, these guys were just swinging and swinging. Got caught, Cody did, came back. But either way, let's get talking into him. He's 6'1". He has like a 72 reach. This dude, I guess technically on a 1-fight win streak, but technically lost. That got turned into a draw. This is a new fight added. I'm not sure if they've known about it, like I said in the beginning, but this dude's explosive. I would be on the UFC website, but they don't even have this card fight on there yet, like I said. But this dude, wrestler background, I'm pretty sure a college wrestler, NCAA, but he likes to swing. He got addicted to the knockouts. I want to say he left his game where he was really good at wrestling. And now he just wants to be a knockout artist. He has 6 knockouts. This dude is a fucking beast. He doesn't like to really go to decision because this dude gets tired. He blows it. He literally throws it all, the sink all out in the fucking first round. The kitchen sink, tosses that shit in there, dude. It's kind of crazy, but out of all his wins, he has 11 wins. 9 of them are finishes. So that is good. This dude likes to get finishes, but he has also been submitted and all that. He gets a little bit too aggressive sometimes. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know. Low-key, he's gotten better from what the fights I've seen, but just he doesn't go for takedowns anymore, really. And it's probably because he doesn't really land any. He barely lands any in the UFC. He doesn't have that good of a percentage. I would show it, but it's not on there. He is really aggressive, but he has also been submitted twice here. One by Bo Nickel and the one by Rodolfo Vera right here. But let's go talk about his opponent now. Where is it at? Eric McConico over here, 9-3-1. This dude is what was it? He's coming off a loss, I believe. Yeah, lost right here to Nursulon by a TKO. This dude is way longer than Cody for sure. What was it? I think he's maybe shorter, but no, I'm not sure if he's shorter or the same height, but he for sure has a longer reach. He's 0-1 in the UFC. He debuted in, what was it? Yeah, his last fight. Okay, yeah, his last fight he debuted, he lost. This dude has a submission threat, 3 career subs and 4 knockouts, so he can do it all. He's never lost to decisions. Like I was saying, his reach is really long for his for the class. This might give him a slight advantage here in the grappling and control over Cody. Cody, I would say, the better wrestler, but he doesn't really use it. Like I said, he's unorthodox, long frame, makes him tricky to read sometimes. His weaknesses, though, he doesn't throw as much. In his first fight, he was not throwing as much. I don't know if maybe the UFC lights were hitting him, but it's just he was not throwing that many strikes a minute. He tends to hesitate a lot, and his striking defense is not the best. As you can see, he's got knocked out in his UFC debut, and he's been knocked out multiple times. Look at that, in the first round, third round. Other than that, he's pretty good. Nice record. The way it gets done here, I'm gonna say is, where do we even go? All right, let's go here. Look at them all right here. Look at other stats that we got. But like I said, it should be a good fight. Cody over here is going to probably try to strike it out, not use his wrestling like he should, but it could be good for him. He has had a lot of good fights. He swings really good at hitting people. If Cody wants to win, he has to come out fast like he always does, and you know he's going to do that. He's going to come out and try to crack Eric, swing, test his chin out. If he gets a good fucking hit, we'll see how good Eric's chin is. And you can see that he's been knocked out 3 times on his 3 losses, so his chin might not be the best. He needs to cut off the cage, avoid Eric's jab. Like I said, maybe go for some takedowns, but I know he's not. He should do. He's just gonna be wild like he always is. You know how Cody is, and the way Eric's gonna win is if he uses his reach, long reach, like I was talking about, keeps him at bay, keeps his distance, mixes in his level changes with his jabs, go for the takedowns, mix it up into striking, capitalize on Cody Brundage's weak takedown game, because his takedown defense is definitely not the best. He's probably going to look to just grind down Cody and beat him by maybe a submission, or get it down and just grind him to a decision. But other than that, I think there's going to be a good fight. Cody does have he does have more experience in the UFC for sure. I say if Eric survives literally the first 3-4 minutes, maybe just survives the first round, takes it to the second, Cody's going to fucking lose. He's going to air out and all that. I'm going to go for Eric winning here by a submission or a decision. I think he has to get past the he has to get past the first round in order to win. But I'm going to go here with Eric getting the dub here by a submission or decision. Let's move on to the next fight I actually have here that I thought was going to be the first one. Let's get started here. We got a women's fight between Gabriela "Gabby" Fernandes. I'm going to call her Gabby. She is 10-3. If I didn't say, there's a flyweight bout here. And her opponent is Julia Stoliarenko, I believe is how you say her name. 11-8-1 as of Tapology. This says 11-9-2. So I'm not sure what's right here. But let's go talk about her opponent. Gabby here. We're going to kick it off. This is for sure a grappler versus striker. This was the first fight of the night. I'm not sure if it is anymore, or if it's the Cody one. But this is what I thought was going to be the first fight of the night. But Gabby over here, pro in 2018. She was the LFA interim champ, I believe, as a flyweight here. Yeah, right here. In 2022, she got her UFC debut in 2023, and she lost to Jasmine Jasdavicius, so that looks really good on her record. She was 3-1 in the LFA. She has 2-2 coming into the in the UFC, and she is coming off an enormous win in 2024 last year to Kong Wang. She was a big ass dog. It was crazy. She just whooped her ass. Big dog just came out there and whooped that. It was like 3 a.m. maybe. I don't know what time this fight was, but it was like the Chinese. It was in China right? I think it was in China. It was a fucking early ass card. 3 a.m. prelims, I'm pretty sure. 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. main card started. It was wild, but she has never been finished either. This is her first fight this year. She is going up against JoJo over here, 11-8-1. pro in MMA in 2013. She had a kickboxing fight first though in 2012, which was a draw. Regional champ. She was also Invicta champ. Where's that at? For the bantamweight right here. Oh, no, that's the regional. She was regional champ and an Invicta champ in bantamweight. She got into UFC in 2020, lost. She has 2-6 currently in the UFC. Her last 5 fights are loss, win, loss, win, loss. So she's going to win, right? She has 0 knockouts, 10 subs, and 1 decision. She has 1-0 in Invicta. This is going to be, like I said, striker versus grappler. Let's go pull up their stats over here. Jojo hasn't got her grappling going in the UFC, but if you see, she has a lot of submission wins. She's great at getting submissions. Pretty sure she was like ADCC, like finalist. But Gabby's coming off her biggest win ever, at like dog-wise and everything. She's a fucking beast. She whooped Kong Wong's ass. It was just a crazy fight. She's also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But her opponent, Jojo over here, 10 out of her 11 wins are by submission. Look at that. That shit is fucking crazy. Jojo for sure the better grappler, but Gabby overall is just more well-rounded, better striker for sure, and she also has some decent grappling if she wants to get it down there. Both have amazing cardio, but Gabby needs to keep it standing, I believe, if she wants to get it done here and win. She cannot be on the ground with a submission threat. She can get a submission on the ground, bottom or top. Like, you don't want to get taken down by her. If I was her, I would keep it standing. Decent takedown defense, has gotten taken down, but I just think that's what she has to do to win here. I want to go for her own takedown. Well, I guess she could keep it standing for as most as she can, get the striking going, and then go for her own takedowns. Because, yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. Get the striking going, then make her think about the takedowns too, not just the striking. That should be an advantage for her. But if Jojo wants to win here, she needs to get the grappling going. She hasn't got it going in the UFC much, but she needs to get it going here because she cannot stay standing with Gabby. She needs to go for her submissions. Jojo does. Get the grappling going. Could win here if she gets that. But it's going to be a hard fight here. The dog, it's going to be Jojo, I believe. Gabby's probably really high praised right now since she's coming off a huge win. But I'm going to go for big dog here. I'm going to go for big dog energy. Look at that. They're the same. Their reach, everything. I was trying to see if something was different here. But no, they got the same reach. Basically same height. But like I said, big dog here. I'm going for the dog. I think Jojo gets her grappling going in the UFC finally. Gets the win here. Gets the takedown and even submits Gabby for a win. I'm going to go for Jojo winning here. She has to be like plus fucking 400 probably. Her record is not that good. Gabby's getting praised right now. She's coming off a big win. But I think Jojo gets it done here by a sub. I'm going to sprinkle the money line win, and I'm going to sprinkle a money line submission, because I bet that submission probably will be pretty high up there, and I bet she's going to be a big dog. I got kicking off the prelims here, the first fight of the night, I believe, unless it's Cody Brundage, which I believe it won't be, but I'm going to put that one on first there. But I believe big dog kicks off the night. Jojo wins by a sub. Let's move on to the next fight. We got a welterweight matchup between Euros, the Doctor, Medic. He is 10-3, going up against Gilbert Urbina, 7-3. The RGV Bad Boy is his nickname. Let's go talk about Medic over here. Pro in 2016, he started 7-0 until he got into the UFC. He won in the Dana White Contender Series in 2020. He won his debut in 2021 with a flying knee. And he got his first loss ever and his second fight in the UFC to Jalen the Tarantula Turner, who is now officially retired. I don't know if he's ever going to come back. He should. He's young, but he is retired now. But we're not talking about him. We're talking about the Doctor over here. He won his debut by TKO, like I said. He is coming off a loss right now by a knockout. He is 4-3 in the UFC. This guy has 8 knockouts, 2 subs, 0 decisions ever. Like none, not even losses or ones. He's never gotten a decision. This dude is a beast. He likes to get the job done, or he's either gonna get knocked out or finished. Let's move on and talk about his opponent over here. Gilbert, 7-3, pro in 2014. He was in the LFA, and he lost to Sean Brady, who is in the UFC now. Clearly, everyone knows him, but that's kind of cool. That was his first loss ever as a pro. so that's not aging bad. But he did lose a couple other ones after that. He's 1-1 in the Ultimate Fighter. He lost to Tresean Gore, who just fought last week and lost. And he also has a loss to Brian Battle, but the Gore fight doesn't count on his record since it's an exhibition, I guess, because I don't know. It's because it's recorded or some pre-recorded, maybe. It's not live. But I'm not sure if that's why. But he does technically have 4 losses then. But he also, look at that. Like I said, Brian Battle was at his debut. Like, that doesn't age as good. Charles Radke, that's not bad. He's a pretty decent. Chuck Buffalo, I'm pretty sure that's his nickname. But yeah, he is coming off that loss by a knockout. So yeah, he hasn't been doing that good in the UFC. He's 1-2 technically in the UFC. Coming off his first ever knockout loss. So that is his first knockout loss. See how he reacts. He has 2 knockouts, 2 subs, and 3 decisions. Let's go look at the stats over here so we can break this fight down a little better. Medic over here, he likes to get it done like I was talking about. Powerful hitter. Let's go see if we can see a significant strikes over here. Very dangerous on the feet, but he does not grapple at all, really. He barely averages 0.5 takedowns, but I guess he lands when he kind of half of them when he takes one. So yeah, he's like one-dimensional. He is very dangerous on the feet. Gilbert for sure is more well-rounded, I would say. Nice boxing skills. Look at that. Way more takedown averages. Look at his striking too. It's pretty decent. He definitely does not have that one punch knockout power like Medic does. Grappling wise though, he is a really nice wrestler. I could see Gilbert maybe tiring Medic out, since Medic likes to go for the kill right away. He's just trying to get it done. He's going in there to get the job done. But I have seen that Gilbert tends to struggle versus people that put pressure on, and Medic applies the pressure. Literally, that is what he does. I think Medic can get it done here by a first round TKO. He likes to do that, and I think he's going to come out here and do that again, knocking out Gilbert in the first round. That is how this fight is going to go. Let's move on to the next fight. We got a women's bantamweight bout here, if it even happens, or depending what it'll be on, because these 2 girls have missed weight a total of like, 5-6 times. It's kind of crazy. We're talking about Jocelyn de la Pantera Edwards, the number 14 ranked women's bantamweight, going up against Priscilla Cachoeira, Zombie Girl, 13-6. She is 36 years old. And let's go talk about Edwards over here, 29 years old, I believe. She is ranked in the UFC, the number 14, like I said. She was pro in 2015. Let's go down here and see that. She was a regional champ in like 2 organizations. Here's one for the 135 belt and that, and then where's the other one? Here's another one in this organization here. So she is a champ in other organizations. She is 0-1 in the LFA. She got in the UFC in 2021, her debut. She won and then she lost 2 in a row after that. She is 6-4 in the UFC. She has missed weight 3 times. Here's 2 of them. Won the fights by a split. Then she missed this one and won another fight by a submission. So she's missed the weight 3 times. It's kind of crazy. She's on a 2-fight win streak currently. And I saw her last fight live where she got a knockout in Kansas City. She has 6 knockouts, 4 submissions, and 5 decisions. She has only been finished 1 by submission. She is durable. She is also kind of young, 29 years old. Let's go talk about her opponent over here, Zombie Girl, Priscilla over here, 13-6. Priscilla is 36 years old. She's kind of older. Pro in 2016, started 0-8, got in the UFC in 2018. Let's go look at that over here. Look at that. 8-0, got in the UFC. Lost to Valentina, which is great. That's just like, they put her right out there to like the wolves, literally. That's kind of crazy. Then she lost 2 other ones. And look at her. She's doing pretty good now. She's gotten better. She's coming off a decent win. I thought she was going to lose. She has missed weight 2 times too. There's one right there she lost. And one of them got canceled because she missed weight by so much. So let's see if they make weight. Like I said, coming off a knockout win. She is 5-6 in the UFC. She has 8 knockouts, 0 submissions, and 5 decisions. She has only been submitted. She has a nice chin, barely gets knocked out. That's what they call her, zombie girl. La Pantera over here, powerful striker with long reach. Let's go see if we can see that over here. Look at her reach, 5-inch reach different. She is ranked. Priscilla over here is a very aggressive boxer, and her chin is literally wild. She can take clean hits, both look at it, and then durable. She's never been knocked out. She literally, she's also been suspended by the USADA. Yeah, what was it? Let's go see if we can go find it over here when she got suspended. I'm pretty sure one of her fight. No, well, where is it? Nope, never mind. But she did get suspended for, she fought for a drug. It was like a 4 or 5 month suspension. So, yeah, she literally only wins by knockout in decision. This is a striker versus striker battle. Priscilla over here for sure only strikes. She's one-dimensional if you've watched her fight. Look how many takedowns she goes for. It's kind of crazy. She literally only boxes you out, and she takes hits to give hits. Literally, that's her thing right now. Edwards, nice spinning elbows, nice attacks, nice knees. Low key, I'm excited for this fight because it's going to be a slugger fest. I feel like for women's, these girls are going to slug it out. They barely go for takedowns unless Edward goes for a takedown because he's trying to play it smart or something, but they barely go for a takedown. They're strikers. I think Edwards is going to wait to counter Priscilla, maybe even get a takedown. She has a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so if she's smart, she can get a takedown if Priscilla overcommits with her boxing. Like I said, one-dimensional, so when she goes to the ground, it's nothing really that tough, and her takedown defense is alright, 65%. Edwards is also younger. I watched her live. She did pretty good. Got a knockout. She's looking good. I really think Edwards can get it done here by a submission or a decision. I think she'll win for sure, but I don't know. I want to say she'll get the finish here, but Priscilla is really durable. She has been submitted once, never been knocked out. I can't see Edwards maybe knock her out, but if I would go for anything, I'll go for the submission and by decision. I think Edwards gets it done here. Let's move on to the next fight. We got a bantamweight bout between Tmw Kazama going up against Elisha Swift Smith. He is 8-1. Silent Killer Kazami 11-4. Let's go talk about Elijah over here. Right here, there's his profile. Let me click out of that. He is 8-1, like I said. He was pro in 2022, regional champ. Look, he also has a nice amateur career. Went 5-0, champ there. Started off in Fury. This guy did. He got in the Dana White Contender Series in 2024. Where is that at? Oh, look, there's the regional champ in Colorado. 2024, he got the Dana White Contender Series, won via decision. Then he won his UFC debut, his last fight. He has 1-0 in the UFC, 4 knockouts. This guy's on a 6-fight win streak. Also has 1 submission and 3 decisions. This dude has only been finished once. He is durable. Going up against Kazama over here. Let's pull up his profile. Kazama, pro in 2020. He lost his first pro fight. He and what is it? Pancreas? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he went undefeated there. I'm pretty sure. Was also the champ. Let's see right here. He was the champ. Pull it up. Well, there we go. Maybe. Yep, there we go. Or the tournament winner, however that works. His UFC debut was in 2023. He lost his debut, then he lost the one after that. He is currently 1-2 in the UFC, and he lost to Nakamura, who just fought last week in his UFC debut. He is from the road to UFC, I believe, too. So this guy is a nice prospect, coming off a win though. So he's killed his little drought there on his losing streak. He got a win by a triangle choke. He has 3 knockouts, 6 submissions, and 2 decisions. This is going to be a grappler versus grappler matchup, kind of, I feel like. Smith, young, 22 years old. This dude's literally my age. He's good everywhere. Wrestling background, 4 knockouts. Kazama over here. BJJ artist. This dude has 6 submission wins. Half of his wins are by subs. His goes for his name, the Silent Killer. All those submission wins. Smith uses his quickness and his hands and kicks to get the takedowns. These guys are both very young, have nice cardio. Kazama for sure is like the better grappler, 100%. Has 6 submissions. Go look at all those submission wins he has. Let's pull it up right here. Look at that, from arm bars, from a twister to arm locks, triangle chokes. So this dude can just anything. Be careful if you're on the bottom. Don't let him take you down. I can see this fight being one of the on the mat a lot, on the ground, or in the clinch a lot. Smith needs to be careful and not be on the bottom, because if he's on the bottom, it can get very dangerous down there. But I do think Smith striking wins and gets even his own takedowns. Smith by late knockout or decision I got here. I think he should pull it off. Like I said, wrestling base, but his striking I would say is also better. And when he mixes in his striking, I feel like he's going to get a takedown in there and get some ground and pound going. I feel like he can get Kazama out of here by a knockout or decision. Let's move on to the next. And up next, we got a light heavyweight bout for the featured prelims. We got Rafael Cerqueira, 11-2, going up against Julius Juicebox Walker, 6-1. Let's go talk about Rafael over here, 11-2. Let's go click on his Tapology page. This dude, pro in 2019. He started 11-0, regional champ. Look at that. Let's just click on all of these so you can see the lightweight. All light heavyweight. I mean, yeah, all of it are light heavyweight. Even this one, I meant to say light heavyweight. But in multiple different organizations. He also had a not his amateur career. He was regional champ. Where's his Dana White Contender Series? Oh yeah, he didn't have one because he had 3 chances. They all 3 got canceled. I'm not sure if it's that. Oh, that guy. Let's see. Every time this guy got pulled out. Okay, because the other guy got hurt or withdrew, and then the last one, he got signed to the UFC. I'm guessing had to step in short notice here or something. He did lose his debut in 2024. He is 0-2, both by knockouts in the UFC. So he started off 11-0 just to lose 2 in a row by knockouts in the UFC. This dude has 8 knockouts, 2 subs, and 1 decision. And yeah, I don't know, his chin is gone maybe, but we'll have to see here. He's going up against a nice dude, really good prospect here. He is coming off a loss, first loss ever. This guy is 6-1, Julius Walker, former basketball player, had a decent amateur career from 2020 to 2022. It was a long one compared to what I've seen to other ones. This guy was 7-3 in that region. He was a champ on that. Pro in 2023, started 6-0, regional champ. Let's go click on that for the light heavyweight. Defended it once. Then he was a regional champ. I'm guessing that's what I'm going to call that. He lost his UFC debut to Alonzo Metafield. It was a very, very close fight. Could have gone either way, honestly. But he did lose his first fight ever as a pro. He has 4 knockouts, 2 subs, and he has never been finished. Not even in his amateur career he's been finished. He has lost some split decisions and decisions, but never been finished. He's only lost by decision. Let's go over here and click on their stats and all that. Walker coming off his first loss. Let's see how he handles that. It was very close too. Let's see how that affects him, because he fought his heart out and he did end up losing that fight to Alonzo. So let's see if it lights something let's light something on him, or if it drags him to the ground. Maybe it's dragging him. Let's see how he does here coming off a loss. Rafael, powerful, likes to brawl. Both of these guys, striker. There's going to be a striker delight. I say Walker for sure is more explosive. He's for sure more athletic. Former basketball players. You guys are in for a great fight right here. Just 2 strikers that love to strike. Barely goes for takedowns. Rafael literally likes to straight up walk people down and start swinging haymakers, while Walker moves a little bit better. Head needs to find the right angles in order to get Rafael, because Rafael is going to come in and try to swing, knock your head off. Julius Walker is going to have to find some counters in there. I was going to pick Rafael to win this, but since he's gotten in the UFC, he's been knocked out 2 times back to back to back. So that's just not good. He's losing his chin. He looks like a guy that I was literally so close to picking him to win, and I was just like, dude's literally gotten knocked out 2 times. I would be pissed off if he wins, but I'm going to go here with Julius Walker coming off a loss. I feel like it lit something in him. Probably going to come back better. I got Walker winning here by an early knockout, probably in the first round or in the second. I'm going to go by Walker with first round knockout. And that is it for the prelims for the UFC Vegas 109 card, aka the Elite versus Hernandez, the middleweight bout for the main card for the main event. But let's go down here and first, okay, this one doesn't have it, but the first fight I was Cody versus Eric. I got Eric winning that. On this one, I'm going to go for the underdog. Julinjo winning here by a submission. That's a big dog right there. Then I'm going to go for Medic winning here by a knockout in the first. Now I'm going to go for Edwards getting it done here by knockout or decision. I'm going to go for Smith winning. And then for the featured prelim, I'm going to go for Walker early knockout. I don't see really yeah, I could see the girls going to decisions maybe, but not even. I can see a couple of these fights ending early. Should be nice prelims here. And then tomorrow I will do the main event and the main card. Thank you everybody for watching. Peace out.